a lesson which is going to be dealing with coordinates of a point, then midpoint, because many students, when they are calculating the midpoint, coordinate of a midpoint, they get confusion with the calculation of gradient, because there is a slight, very small similarity between gradient and the midpoint, even with the distance. Then I want to clarify how to determine the the midpoint of a segment, how to calculate the gradient and how to calculate the distance, such that that confusion of using the formula of midpoint in gradient or distance get out. Muri make kubakoresha kubumva neza ikinyarwanda, hari ikibazo kiboneka hagati y'amaformule gushaka gradient, gushaka distance, gushaka midpoint. Iri somo nurikurikira neza ukarirangiza, uraza kurirangiza umaze kubona itandukaniro naho bihuriye kugira ngo utazabyitiranya. Now, let's start with the coordinate. Coordinate, it is any indication of a point. A point is a dot, but whatever we do, many times we use 2D dimensions. That means we have two distances. For example, when you are directing a switch in your house from maybe the door, you say that maybe you turn left a certain distance, you move up a certain distance to reach on that switch. That is directing someone to that switch. To me, the coordinate now will use two directions, two dimensions. You move horizontal distance and then upward distance, or it can be an horizontal rightward and then horizontal leftward. Whatever, either is vertical or horizontal, it will use two dimensions, two distances. Now, a coordinate, we can denote a point A with two coordinates. When I write A, X, Y, X always will stand for the horizontal displacement or horizontal distance. Y will be a vertical distance. Or, in another word, it can be X horizontally rightward and Y on another side to direct a point. Now, if we try to find a rationale, what will help us with the coordinate? Coordinate is adufasha iki? Qu'est-ce que quelle utilité ou comment on utilise les coordonnées? Iyo nanditse point A, andika ngo A iri muri 2 and 3. 2 and 3 means what? It can be in meters, it can be in centimeters. Simply, mathematically, if I write A, 2, 3, that is 2 units and 3 units. Now, in the plane XY, a coordinates with units, if I write 2, 3, I'm directing you this point A, which is in 2 units horizontally, and you move up 3 units to reach on the point. An example of the other switch, we said, is that, let's say that this is our door. You move 2 meters horizontally and then 3 meters to reach on the switch named A. This is direction in coordinate. Let's suppose that now we have another point which can be on another distance. This is 1 unit, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 5. Then maybe 2. There's another switch there in position B. Now, if I write this one, I will say that move 5 units horizontally on X, and then move 2 vertically. You see, this is a point A, this is a point B. Now, I can calculate the distance from this location to this location. Let's have a segment training there. This is between a segment A and B. Which distance? How far? How can I move when I was locating in A and I want to move to B? You see, that is information. You need to know how far this point is to that one. For example, in our real life, you can travel from Kigali to Huye. You need to know how far Huye is from Kigali. Then, knowing that distance, it can help you to maybe to know how much you will spend, the fuel you will need, and the other details that will help you in your journey. That is very important to know how to measure the distance given some indication as coordinates. Now, what is now the midpoint? Midpoint, and as you understand mid, it is a half. Let's suppose that this is our half. It means consider the distance from A to B, which point is in half. Tuvuge ngo niba uva i Kigali ujya i Butare, i Huye, ugiye i Huye, uri kwibaza ngo ubundi buri umujyi uri hagati ya Butare, ya Huye, ya izina riracya ducarenginga, ariko nawe uzi Huye, karere ka Huye, uva i Huye ujya i Kigali mu mujyi, which town is in middle? Nuhe mujyi waba urimo hagati? Ese ni Nyanza? Ese ni Ruhango? You need to know how to calculate the midpoint of a distance. Then later we will see how to find now the distance. Let's start with the midpoint. You want to know the location of midpoint. If you are calculating now midpoint, let's denote this midpoint as M. And the coordinate of M are unknown. Mathematically, we better use X, Y for unknown. These are unknown. When the 2 points here, A and B, their coordinates are known. Now, the formula simply that we will use for midpoint we add. That is what you have to take in your mind. We add, and then we take a half. A half means 1/2. It means that now you take, to get the coordinate X here, you will take the coordinate X of 1 point, you add the coordinate of second point, and then you divide by 2. If you are getting X, coordinate of midpoint, you may use the X's, X1 plus X2. Sometimes there are other students who prefer to use XA plus XB, as we named our point A and B, but they look like, that is just names. Now, the y coordinates, it will be y1 plus y2 over 2. Or, on another hand, y can be ya plus yb over 2. What you have to take in your mind, if you find the y of midpoint, you add y's. Then divide by 2 because midpoint is a half. When you are getting the x coordinate, you add the x coordinate of the point and you divide by 2. Nukuvuga ngo urateranya x coordinate cyangwa se coordinate za mbere ugabanye kabiri, uteranye coordinate za kabiri ugabanye kabiri. With our example, I can say that here, if I take A as 2, 3, B as 5, 2, I can get the midpoint here. This is x, this is the y of the point 1. This is the x of the point 2, this is the y of the point 2. Then let's add the x. So that I take this value, I add this one. That is 2 plus 5 over 2. Please, there are students who simplify 2 and 2 here. No, we need to add first of all. Because this common bar, it stands for bracket. And remember the order of operation, we start by bracket, then other operations. You need to take 2 plus 5 first of all, you get 7, then you divide by 2. So that the x will be in 3.5, or you can maintain the fraction 7 over 2. The y, you will take the sum of y's. I'm insisting midpoint we do what? We add, it's about sum. Then I will take 3 plus what? Plus 2 over 2. As the common bar stands for bracket, I start by adding 3 plus. Don't simplify 2 and 2. It is a common error for students. I add 3 plus 2, I get what? 5 over 2. This is 2.5. It means the midpoint of ours here, this m, it is located in 7 over 2 and 5 over 2 coordinates. This is how we find the midpoint of 2 points. Nukuvuga iki rero, hano hari ikintu cy'ingenzi cyo gufata. Iyi midpoint turateranya, urako nafashe, we add, ndakeka nitwiga algebra tuzasobanura like terms. Ntabwo dufata y na x, duteranya za x tukagabanya kabiri, ugateranya na za y ukagabanya kabiri. Ntuzakora ikosa ryo gufata x coordinate nguteranyeho y coordinate, aho hazaba ari ikosa rya order. Now this is midpoint. Ndakeka byumvikanye. Muri comment nzakomeza ndebe icyagucalenginze utaha nyongeremo. Ndashaka dukomeze turebe n'ikindi cya kabiri, kuko iri somo twabonye ko objective ya mbere ni ukumenya gukora gushaka midpoint, gradient na distance, ariko kandi tukamenya itandukaniro riri hagati ya midpoint n'iki na distance n'iki na gradient. Tumaze kubona ko midpoint ari sum, we add the x's over 2 and y over 2. My lovely student, don't confuse. In midpoint we add, then we divide by 2 because mid means the half, middle, someone who is in a middle. Thank you for this midpoint. We continue with gradient. Gradient. You will find some books or textbook call it slope. These are the same. Gradient. What's a gradient will tell you? Normally, akenshi twese tutega imodoka. We take taxi, the motor. Let's suppose that your home is near the main road. Aho uva muri kaburimbo ukagera gute? Ugaterera n'amaguru muri metero nkeya ukagera mu rugo. Ni ukuvuga ngo niba uvuye muri kaburimbo ari umuhanda watambikaga gutya, hanyuma ukaza guterera gutya ujya mu rugo, this is the home, there is a slight sloping up. So ati ugereranije na wa muhanda wawe warutambika kuva kuri kaburimbo ujya mu rugo watereye. Gradient rero tubwira iki? Dutereye bingana iki? Urabona guterera hari abantu bigora, cyane cyane abantu bakuze bafite weight ifatika. Biterwa n'iki rero? This if is sloping up, uyu muntu utuye hano kugiwe ntabwo bizamuvuna nk'utuye ahangaha, ndetse ntibizamuvuna nk'utuye aho. Urabona ko uyu nguyu azava afite ango nini, donc umuhanda ugiwe uraterera cyane, urazamuka cyane. Uyu nguyu umuhanda ugiwe ntabwo uzamuka. Rero nitujya mu mibare tugakalculatinga gradient y'uno muhanda, nimureba uno muhanda ushushanyijwe n'inzira iri straight, mu mibare tuzayiconsideringa a straight line which has equation of mx plus c. Gradient rero iba ari uno mubare uri kuri x. Remember x I said that is horizontal distance, y is a vertical distance. This is horizontal distance. Okay, now let's start with this point. This is a car park where the cars are stopped. Uvuye mu modoka urashaka kujya mu rugo, ubwo ni iwawe hano. Ese biragusaba iki? Ni ukuvuga ngo uvuye hano ukagera aha hari urugendo wakoze utambika n'urundi wakoze uzamuka. Ni ukuvuga ngo uyu muhanda wawe ugenda as a shortcut utereye gatoya cyane. Urabona ko kuva ku muhanda wa kaburimbo kugera iwawe ni hagufi ugereranije n'uru rugendo rutambitse. Noneho uyu nguyu we, uyu muhanda wa kabiri tuwite umuhanda wa kabiri, uyu tuwite umuhanda wa mbere, this is the third road. Uyu wakoze umuhanda wa urugendo ku muhanda wa kabiri we ugereranije kuva hano kugera aho ahita aterera direct ukoze vertical straight lines, horizontal and vertical. Iyi vertical distance is somehow bigger than this one. Kuvuga ngo uyu araterera cyane kurusha uyu. Uyu yakoze urugendo ruzamuka kurusha urw'uyu nguyu yakoze. Tuje ku muhanda wa gatatu rero, uyu nguyu murebe yahababariye cyane kuko guterera biravuna. Guterera biravuna ugereranije no gutambika. Uyu yatereye cyane kurusha uyu watambitse. Gradient rero izatubwira iki? Izatubwira ngo how far a line, a straight line is sloping up from the horizontal. We are measuring the vertical displacement compared to horizontal displacement we are making. Displacement simply in mathematics we denote it by d, which means changes, which how far you are moving upward compared to horizontal distance. That means the gradient will be calculated as gradient. Okay, we can call it, name it as m, others will call it a. This is just a name. We will take dy over dx. Aha naho hari ikibazo abanyeshuri mukunda guhura nacyo. Urabona yuko buri gihe nibaza guko njya hejuru, the vertical displacement niyo nashingiragaho cyane ngereranije nuko natambitse. N'uyu nguyu yatereye akantu gatoya ugereranije nuko yatambitse. This means for this road 1 there is a short vertical distance compared to horizontal distance. This one there is a considered vertical displacement compared to the horizontal. This is highly vertical displaced than the horizontal. Urumva ko ibintu byose dukora turi kubigereranya nuko twagiye vertically. Then ntabwo dukoresha horizontal displacement compared to vertical. This is a mistake that students make. Don't use this formula. No. But the formula, it is y. We start with vertical displacement compared to horizontal. This d means what? This is variation. Variation or changes. How my points are changing vertically compared to horizontal changes. Let's now apply it for our coordinates. I have coordinate A here and coordinate B, and I want to know how this line through A and B is sloping up compared to, this line is sloping up compared to the horizontal. Always we consider the how is moving up compared to horizontal position. Now, what do we do? Gradients, it will be dy over dx. Now, dy, I will take y of second point minus y of first point. Dx will be y of, x of second point minus x of first point. Then I replace here. I get as it is y2 minus y1 this is x2 minus x1. Ndakeka nababwiye yuko iyi formula yo gukoresha dy over dx is a common mistake for student. After watching this video, don't do the same mistake. Ntuzongere gukoresha ino mistake buri gihe to comparing vertical displacement, vertical changes toward the horizontal changes. Let's take an example of point A here as 2, 5. This is as 10, 6 for example. Let's take 6. The gradient of a line which can pass through A and B, it will be 6 minus 5 over 10 minus what? Minus 2. And we get 1 over what? 1 over 8. What is the meaning of this 1 over 8? These things we are doing, it is in units of time. It is that if let's consider unit as 1 meter. 1 meter. That from A to B, you move, y is vertical. You move one distance vertically, you move 1 unit vertically, and then you move horizontal 8 units, then you move another 1 unit, and you move 8 vertically to reach on the point. This is the meaning of the gradient. As you have to make 1 unit horizontally, vertically, because we start on vertical displacement, you will make 8 horizontally. It is a stage. It's like you are just climbing on a stage. You move units vertically, then you make 8. This 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then again you make 1 unit vertically, you make other 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You see, the end point is here, that if you start from here and you move up to reach there, this is what we call the gradient. How far? If I write, for example, a gradient which is 12 over 5, what's the meaning of here? You see, this gradient is telling us that you need to move 12 units upward and then 5 horizontally 12 units upward, 5 units horizontally. This differ from 1/8 here, where you move 1 vertical, 8 horizontally. Then, if I write 3/4 gradient, it means that here it needs to move 3 vertically and 4 horizontally. If you use these different examples of gradient here, this one, this one, this one, and then this one, you can know which line will be strongly upward. Urumva kugenda inshuro metero 3 uterera ugatambika 7 bitandukanye no guterera imwe ugatambika 8. Hano hari igitambika kirekire niho utazamuka cyane, mu gihe hano biragusaba guterera metero 12 ugatambika 5. Tuvuga ko guterera bigoye cyane, urumva hano waruhukamo gake cyane, guterera 12 ugatambika 5. This is the meaning of gradient. How far am I moving upward compared to horizontal displacement? Please, shortly, to conclude about gradient, it is differ from the midpoint, because gradient we use what? Difference. If you remember well, the midpoint we use sum. Midpoint, it is the sum of same coordinates, okay, of x and then y's. Here we make difference. This is x2 minus x1, y2 minus y1. Okay, I was saying y2 minus y1. On this, it is x1 plus x2, y1 plus y2. Remember, we divide by 2 because it is in half, but here we make the ratio, that is dy over dx. Everyone can realize the difference. y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. This is the main difference. Similarities, it is x and x. We are adding x's and we add y's. For midpoint, we subtract the x's and we subtract the y when you are finding the gradient. Differences, we divide by 2 to get midpoint. Here we make the ratio. We take the difference of y's over difference of x. Nukora ibi bintu bya gradient na midpoint ugomba kuba smart enough ukamenya ngo muri gradient ndakuramo, hanyuma fate ikinyuranyo cya y's ngabanye x, ikinyuranyo cya x. Muri midpoint ndafata igiteranyo ngabanye 2 cya y's n'icya x. Hanyuma ibi ngibi biratubwira ko uramutse ufite equation za lines zitandukanye, 2x plus 5, y equal to 3x minus 10, y equals to 15x minus 100, y equal to 12, okay, 1.2 plus 1000. From these lines, which is stepping up than another? Vuga ngo nimureba neza iyi dufite 2 gusa. 2 biravuga iki? Biravuga ko gradient ari 2. Ninjya kugereranya how far am I moving vertically and how far am I moving horizontally, 2, it is the same as 2 over 1. that I move 2 upward and 1 unit horizontally. This one, I move 3 is 3 over 1. I move 3 units vertically and 1 unit horizontally. You see, this is now highly sloping up than the first one. The same case, 15 units per 1, so that this is more now stepping up than other lines. This is a gradient. Still, we keep moving on. Any question will be answered. Any comment you will have, it will be answered. Okay, now points number 3, it is about distance. How can I calculate, how can I define or find the distance from A to B? It is very important to know how far a point is from another, one town to another. Sometimes on the road they are indicating the kilometers from one point to another. Yes. Now you can reach at Kabuga, for example, and you find that on your road is written 120 because maybe it's referred from Kigali. When you reach in Nyagasambu, you find now is written as 60. Okay, 160. It's by estimation is not the real distance. Now, how can you know the distance between Kabuga and Nyagasambu? You see, at Nyagasambu Road is, in one point of Kabuga is written 120 kilometers. When you reach on another point in Nyagasambu, you find that is written 160. What is the distance between Kabuga and Nyagasambu using this example of ours? Simply, what you do, you take 160 kilometers minus 120 kilometers. With this our example, Kabuga and Nyagasambu will be separated by a distance of 40 kilometers. This is when now you have unidirection. You are having one direction, one place to another. What if now you are comparing? Suppose that you have a switch in your house, which is on 2 meters from the door horizontally, 3 meters vertically, to another switch, which is now in 4 meters in your room to 5 meters upward. Or is always first coordinate it refer to the horizontal displacement, second is the vertical displacement in our plane. Now we want to know the distance from the point switch 1 to switch 2. Maybe you want to connect 2 switches, and to connect them you need the distance, the length of the wire conductor that you will buy. You see the importance of knowing the distance. There is a switch location here. You want to put a switch here and another switch on the wall. And when you measure from one side, from the door, you find that it is in 2 meters horizontally, vertically it is 3 meters. Another switch will be located in 4 meters to 5 meters. Which wire conductor you will buy, the length that you will use between to connect this switch to another. Now this will be determined easily mathematically by the formula, the following formula. The distance from switch 1 to switch 2, it should be found. First of all, you find difference. As you are seeing here, on the road from Kabuga to Nyagasambu, to get the distance between, we calculated the difference. Distance I mentioned first of all on difference. I am reminding you that on midpoint is the sum, gradient is difference, then ratio. You subtract and you find the ratio, you divide the vertical displacement over horizontal displacement. In distance, first of all, you find the differences, dx and then dy. We need difference because this point is directed by two dimensions. There is horizontal distance and vertical distance. This one, Kabuga and Nyagasambu, it was only one direction, reason why we calculated one difference. If there are two directions, we will calculate two differences. There is dx as a difference in x, and there is dy as difference in what? In y. This dx will say that is dx2 minus x1, dy will be y2 minus y1. Maintain differences. Then after getting the differences here, I will square each. This is dx squared plus, this is plus dy squared, then square root. Listen carefully. After finding the differences, we put them square. We square them. Then we add. Here there is a common mistake of student, please. Don't square root before adding. You start by adding the squares, then the answer you get from squares is what you do what? You square root. Let's take an example. With these two switches here, let's calculate the distance. Let's find dx. What is dx? Take this one as 0.1, this as 0.2. Then I take x of 0.2 is here. This is y of 0.2. This is x of 0.1. This is x of y of 0.1. I will take now x2 minus x1. This is 4 minus 2, which is 2. So that dx for our example is 2 units. It can be any preferred unit. dy, this is y2 minus y1. y2 here is 5 minus 3. You get what? 2. Don't say that always it will be 2 because of example. We shall see other examples with different values. Here it's that dy is 2. Then, may I prefer to first of all find dx squared before I apply the formula. It is better. That is 2 squared. You get what? 4. And I get dy squared. This is 2 also squared. I get what? 4. Then I apply the formula. Distance switch 1 to switch 2. It will be square root of 4 plus 4. I start by adding. This is 8. Square root of 8 units. It means that you can calculate the square root. There are people who can simplify the radical. They get this one. Or simply you use decimal according to which way you want to give about the answer. Gayo nguko. Nukuvuga ngo rero ubu ni uburyo twakalikiretingamo distance. Tubanza gukuramo difference. Niye handi twabonye dukuramo kuri gradient dukuramo. Hanyuma kuri midpoint tugateranya. Hano rero ikosa rihari nkuko kuri gradient nakubwiye ngo kuramo y's na x, hanyuma ufate difference of y ugabanye difference of x. Kuri distance nakubwiye ngo banza ukuremo, numara gukuramo ushake their squares uziteranye ubone gushaka square root. This is a explanation about how to calculate the distance, the gradient, and the midpoint of line segment. Please Don't miss our next appointment. It will be now more exercises to clarify this work we did. Ubutaha tuzazana exercise noneho tuziformula tuzikoreshe kugira ngo turebe ko twabyumvise gutandukanya uko bashaka midpoint of line segment, uko bashaka distance entre les deux points, uko bashaka gradient n'icyo gradient ivuga. Abantu benshi iyo bumvise gradient mu mibare bakeka ko ari ibintu bigoye, ariko twese iyo tutaha benshi tuva ku muhanda tugaterera. Uburyo nterera ku musozi wacu bitandukanye n'uko uterera wowe ujya ku musozi wanyu. Uko umusozi rero ugenda uzamuka cyane bivuga ko ufite high gradient. Twabonye ko gradient ari nzamuka gute ngereranije n'uko ntambika. Niba utambika cyane ukazamuka gake, gradient yawe ni ntoya kuruta uterera cyane akagira gute agatambika gato. Ese kugera iwawe bimeze gute? Uraterera cyane, ubwo utuye ku musozi ufite high gradient. Utereramo gake, utuye ku musozi ufite gradient ntoya. Noneho ababa muri plains cyane cyane nko mu Bugesera hari imisozi itambitse ifite ahantu hatambitse, baba ku misozi donc aho ushobora kugera hejuru ku musozi ugatambika nk'ibirometero n'ibirometero. Iyo rero hatambitse ubwo gradient yabo ni kangahe? Ni 0. Hari tuzabona yuko hari na gradient bari izamutse cyane 100% for vertical lines nk'ibiti. Ibiti biteye mu ishyamba byose bigororotse bizamutse bifite gradient iri 100%. Tuzasanga ari donc tuzabitandukanya na horizontal. Umenye ngo iyo bitambitse nko ku nk'ikibaya gradient bari kangahe, siyo objectif yacu munsi. Iyo bizamutse cyane nk'ibiti gradient bari kangahe. Ese iyo bitambitse nk'ishami ry'igiti, ubona ku giti kizamuka n'ishami ryacyo ishami riba ritambitsemo gato, gradient yayo imeze gute? Ndumva ari icyo twashatse kubabwira muri iri somo. Welcome the comments. Aho utabaye satisfied tubaze, turahari kugira ngo tukumare amatsiko tugusubize, hanyuma aho uzabazwa gradient, midpoint na distance uzabashe kubisubiza neza wemye. Utunota dukanuye utwamagane, ubona amanota uzishimira kwereka ababyeyi, abarezi n'abazakubaza. Twibukiranye mukande share, mukande subscribe, mukande mushyireho comment kugira ngo tumenye icyo gukosora n'icyo kongeramo. Kanda like niba wabikunze, ndetse na unlike if there is something which is not 100% shared. Thank you so much. We love you too so much. Turabakunda cyane. Mugumane natwe, bizadufasha kandi bizadushimisha.